All right, for more, let's bring in Matthew Scianitti from a rainy BMO field in Toronto. Just a devastating result for Canada, Matthew. Canada, they failed to qualify for Copa America. Where does the blame lie for this result?
Yeah, we're at a point now where we look at a disappointment like this and an opportunity missed to directly qualify for the Copa America tonight in two parts. You can certainly look at this game and see the missed opportunities in the first half, some of the great saves that Onrait Blake made, the adjustments that Jamaica made, especially in their midfield that Canada didn't necessarily match. Stefan Eustáquio gets a penalty called on him. You can debate whether or not the ball touched his stomach or his arm. But ultimately, there's a symptom of a lot of problems here. Canada only plays once in the October window, has to fly to Japan, loses handily over there, and then there are these repeating patterns that you find that trace all the way back to when they qualified against Jamaica in March of 2022. John Herdman leaving and going to Toronto FC, losing the Nations League final. There are little indentations on this team's overall confidence that you can see, but Marc-Anthony Kaye talked about accountability, that this team needs to hold itself accountable. And Stefan Eustáquio then said, when I asked him, take us into the locker room, he said, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room, but we're going to have to communicate with each other because this team knows it has a lot of talent, and yet it hasn't been executing on the field. And we can discuss, especially that October window, as a missed opportunity for this team to come together. As talented as it is, they may not have necessarily the experience in situations like this to overcome a game that had so many emotional highs and lows, especially in that second half. The period from the 60th minute all the way through to the end of the game had so many things going on, from 2 goals, a penalty, Canada coming back with Ismail Kone, questions about substitutions that Mauro Biello made, a red card, and then Canada really not putting any chances on net at the end. So we're really at, and I spoke to Julian de Guzman about this earlier in the evening, a real low point. And now they can only point themselves toward a March window, because in January they won't be able to have a FIFA window to get all the players together. They're looking towards March and a tricky Copa playoff. I don't know how this team pulls itself out of it. They talk about they have all the tools in the locker room. That brotherhood we have heard so much about over the last 3 years that elevated this team to so many big moments and qualified them for the 2022 World Cup. At this point, they're going to have to find the answers within themselves.
You know, it's amazing, Matthew, right? It was about a year ago that Canada was about to play their first match in Qatar at the World Cup, and it was such a high, and now here we are. So we will see how this all plays out, but we do appreciate you joining us on the show tonight. Thanks so much. Matthew Scianitti, always terrific. Now, here's a fun fact relayed to me by Keeks, one of our star production assistants on the show. The reason that NBA courts for the in-season tournament are painted this way is that so you, the viewer, can turn on a TV screen and instantly know that you're watching an in-season tournament game. Pretty clever, right?